You answered almost all the questions I had coming in during the talk. I have to say, would you describe yourself as a science-based skeptic? Like when you think of skeptic, is it science-based?
Yeah, I would. I would think that yeah, I would. You know, it's kind of a science-based skeptic in that. I think science has got the best way of looking. It's the best way of looking at words. It's got the best methodology for applying yourself to an extraordinary claim and saying, you know. So I would tend to view science as well. You know, if it's not science, what is it? You know, so what other methodology are you going to come up with? And previous methodologies have been, you know, religious and theological, and they've been kind of, you know, they don't have the same level of rigor, I suppose.
And we looked up skeptics last night on the internet. What we got was the old original one.
Yeah.
We doubt everything.
Doubt everything, which again, I think
the argument I was making at all.
No. Yeah, I think it's. I think there's. I think no. I mean, most skeptics would tend to say, you know, science has given us all of this. You know, we're able to put planes in the air and satellites in the sky, and we're able to cure people of various different diseases we couldn't have done years ago. So there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of stuff that works and has worked, and people understand how they work, and you understand the principles. It's a bit like plumbing, you know, and there's all these claims that dilute the truth, dilute not the truth, but they dilute, or they basically say something different. And sure, go ahead, let's test it. Let's see what happens, you know. And if it's tested properly, and you know, it proves itself over a period of time, then it's a worthwhile claim, you know.
I've got a question myself, actually. You know the QED?
Yeah.
Recently, I was wondering what's going on in the skeptic movement at the moment, or the highlights?
Yeah, the highlights, I suppose, in like basically it was very interesting. We had Richard Dawkins was talking. You know, we were expecting him to be kind of pretty incendiary, because a lot of his messages on social media have been very incendiary over the last couple of years. But he gave it basically. He was talking more about evolution and the power of evolution. You know, how it was. He actually made a claim that evolution itself wasn't as powerful an idea, as amazing an idea as what Newton had come across a couple of hundred years before Darwin. And the amazing, he says, the question is, why wasn't it Newton who came up with that? Why did it take another 200 years to come up with? Well, you know, when you understand evolution, it's kind of logical type of thing, you know, it makes sense. He was, you know, he gave a great talk. There was a woman, Brooke McGanty, who was a former sex worker. She was giving a talk as well about, you know, sex is different to what, you know, a lot of the kind of conclusions that you would have, or a lot of the views you would have about sex might be a little bit different in the real world, you know, in terms of some of the research that's been done, differences between men and women, that tends to be quite an active area. Lawrence Krauss was talking about the beginning of the universe. We had another guy, whose name eludes me at the moment, who's talking about, you know, the search for life and the search for the origins of life on planet Earth, and where life might go in the next couple of years with genetic therapy and genetic research. So it's Adam Rutherford, I think is his name. There was a number of talks as well on kind of skeptical activism and what skeptics can do to get the message out there a bit more. We had, I'm trying to think now who else was involved. Stephen Colgan gave a talk about skeptical policing and some of the things that they use to try and stop antisocial behaviour, which is a fantastic talk. It was very, very different. I'd say it's 100% the opposite. And he was giving a talk. He wouldn't be a skeptical guy at all. And himself and Robin Ince, who's a comedian, got into a massive argument in one of the talks, because he was basically saying that skepticism is just another religion, and you know, essentially that we were just full of all of our he was just kind of an advanced form of hero worship, and you know, it's just kind of the weird, you know, governments were now taking advice from scientists, and that was a really bad thing. that was one of its kind of central aims, that science shouldn't be involved in politics and involved in policy making. That politicians should be free to make their own decisions and their own choices. So you can imagine that. You can imagine that Robin Ince just absolutely lost it. He just got very annoyed about this, you know. We had some talks about the anti-vaccination movement in Australia. Australia has done a great job in actually getting the message out there. The UK is doing a great job at the moment as well in really getting the message out there and saying, listen, you know, anti-vaccination is dangerous. It's dangerous for your kids, dangerous for old people, dangerous for small babies who can't be vaccinated. These people are on ground. You know, they're not on solid ground. They're on, you know, they're talking, you know, off quicksand, but it all sounds very, very nice. Again, it's the power of story and the power of emotion. Who
are the anti-vaccination people? Like, are they religious, or do they have?
They're not. No, it's very much kind of a new agey thing, right, more than anything else. It's they believe that you're injecting, you know, it's part of the naturalistic movement that you're injecting poisons. Anything natural, anything unnatural that's manufactured is dangerous, according to a lot of people. It's this naturalistic fallacy, you know, where natural is good. That's the view, you know, that, you know, if it's natural, they forget that deadly nightshade is also natural, right? You know, that there's lots of, you know, bee stings are also natural, you know. That actually, you know, a more rational view of the natural world is that it's out to kill us in some ways. You know, that we've just invented, the human beings have invented tons of defences against nature. Because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't live very long. But that's very often the view, and vaccines obviously fit into that they're all unnatural, unnatural infection of your bloodstream, and it's all very, very bad for you. So that's it. We had a Carrie Poppy, very interesting person. She